preparedness. I believe he's going to be joining us here in a minute. So, for those of you who don't know who we are the Skull and Beard Society, a fine group of brothers and sisters who live by a decent moral code. We don't beat people up verbally on Facebook, social media, otherwise. We're a different group, not the typical beard group, that's for certain. Good mix of people. So here I am talking to myself while we wait for Joseph. He is joining us now, so I'm going to add him into the stream. Joseph. There we go. Oh, and he lost us. So Joseph is in Washington, and I'm in Ontario, Canada. Try him again. Here he comes. Hey, brother, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. So, we got you. You're out in Washington, am I correct?
Yes.
And you're on a farm. I know I've seen wonderful pictures in the past. Pretty awesome site.
I am on a farm. Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about some preparedness today, which relates somewhat to some of the steps you've taken for your family.
Yeah, we've been at this for a little while now, a couple of years now. As far as making sure if something happened, I mean, we're not preppers or anything like that. But getting ourselves to a point where we're independent when it comes to should something happen, should the market crash, anything like that, making sure we're ready. I mean, we live on 95 acres. We've got cows, chickens, turkeys, ducks, goats. I mean, everything you can think of that you'll need. And now we've got pigs as of, was it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. So,
Nice.
I mean, it's not only that, but also learning things, learning how to learning how to, process your own meat, from, slaughter all the way through, cut and wrap and everything. So learning everything like that, it's a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. But yeah, getting to that point is definitely, I'd say, emotionally liberating. I think would probably be a good term for it. Definitely something that's worth it.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. We've done a little bit of here at we live in the city, so definitely restricted with property size and our ability to produce. Definitely not producing our own meat or anything. So interested in what you're doing there for certain. And so you say you got pigs started on, or you secured some piglets, I guess, Sunday?
Sunday, yeah, I don't know exactly sure how old they are. What breed are they?
Berkshires, and they're about
Berkshires.
3.5, 3 months.
So they're a couple months old. Berkshires. We've got 7 in total. I believe we've got 4 females and 3 males. The males, obviously, this fall will be for slaughter, and we'll pack freezers with that. And then females are obviously for future. And thinking about it and using every part of it. I mean, we use everything, the bones, everything. Nothing goes to waste. And that right there was a learning curve too. What do you do with stuff that you don't, initially know what to do with? And honestly, YouTube and then following people on Facebook and Instagram has been our best friend. Learning how to process different things, how to make different things, all the way to smoking your bacon, smoking your hams, everything. But yeah, we managed to get pigs, and I think today, after this, is the rest of the day is setting up an outdoor pig pen, because right now they're in a temporary run. But setting an outdoor pig pen, where they have room to roam, and not just be cooped up in a little area. So it's not something that you don't just go get pigs and have it overnight. But if you can, if you have the area to do it, that's definitely a process. So it's something to look into. Even I don't know where you're located, Ryan, but even in the city,
You do Berkshires.
even in the city here, I think you're allowed 10 chickens within city limits for certain cities. Some of them I think are down to like 7 and even 5. But they still allow you to have chickens, and I think that's pretty much it as far as within city limits. But it still gives you something. You have meat. If you have male birds, you have eggs, constant supply of eggs, which I think is really beneficial. And then farms like the one I have is definitely a place to go for a source of meat should, big corporations such as Walmart go down.
Yeah, it makes good sense. I know I've recently looked at rabbits. We've looked at chickens in the past. I was actually just looking on videos on how to clean rabbits and whatnot last night because they're pretty fast breeders. Interesting about pigs, you know, through a movie watching with the kids, they're saying, "Oh, spring pig, you're dead this fall." I had no idea that pigs went to slaughter so quickly.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's a really quick growth rate.
yeah. So what we do is the first time I ever slaughtered pigs, there was so much fat on them. I mean, a massive layer of fat, and they weren't actually that. The meat wasn't really that good. So we started doing research on why, and how to get them to where they're not like that. They were kept in there was probably four of them kept in like a 12-foot by 12-foot pen their whole life. And so they don't build muscle and the meat that you need and you require, like a pig that has a little bit more of a free roam. So building a larger pen where they can run and play around, not anything like a couple acres, but something just, you know, if you can take, as a human, as a grown male, if you can take, 20 steps in one direction, take a right, and take 20 steps in the next direction, full size steps, that's a good size run for a couple pigs. If we're putting four females in one pen, it's a decent size, and you can even go a little bit bigger. And then the other option is being able to move them from spot to spot because they're going to clear land and get down to that dirt real quick, and they're going to destroy it. So getting different pens set up so you can stage those pens, and same with cows, moving them from pasture to pasture. It's the same thing with pigs, but giving them room to roam allows them to build that meat and muscle, and then the last probably 3 weeks to a month before you slaughter, graining them up, getting them into a small enclosure, graining them up. It allows the meat to kind of settle down where they're not constantly using all that muscle. It allows it to tenderize a little bit more before you slaughter. It puts a little bit of fat on them. And then, of course, once you slaughter, you hang them for 10 to 14 days. Allows the meat to break down a little bit more. That way, it's good tasting and not too tough, and you're not dealing with all that gristle.
Right, right. Awesome. Sounds like you're starting to understand the approach. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely takes a bit.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can't see anything on here. I can only see my little window and my face. I can't see anything else, and then I can't see comments either.
So I know there is an option. Well, we're broadcasting into YouTube. I've linked it to the group. Um,
Okay.
I'm on a PC right now, so yeah, we won't see comments
All right.
unless we're into YouTube or whatever. So Facebook, so it doesn't matter much. Um, so your job, your career, you're a bounty hunter.
Yes.
So that allows you some flexibility, which is pretty awesome. A lot of people are tied to a 9 to 5 and restricted with what time they have available to them. But does that job allow you some flexibility then with your schedule and help with this?
A lot of flexibility, especially with everything going on right now. There's a little bit more flexibility. A lot of jails aren't taking anything that's not a violent felony.
Right.
So some files we're just sitting on. We're not able to even go after right now. But for the files that we do have, we have the files, we do the homework and roll out. But then other than that, unless we're doing homework and actually rolling on them, it's just farm work, home, family time, farm work, which is honestly really beneficial because we've got kids home doing school at home. And we're doing that with more than one child right now. Being able to be home and help with the family, it's very beneficial right now.
Yeah, that's fair for sure. We've got 4 kids. Two younger ones definitely are not independent yet, so having to manage everything and get them into schooling, it's quite a bit of work. So no,
Yeah,
it's good that you've got that flexibility. I've seen Kendall do quite a bit of baking breads that look phenomenal for sure. So I know she's definitely a hand in this whole picture for sure.
she's probably the main one, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's fair. Give credit where credit's due. It's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I know when I first met her, she's even since then, she already knew how to do canning, and all kinds of stuff. She's an incredible cook, an incredible baker. Just the the cakes that she makes for people, the stuff she bakes at home, the food she makes. I mean, there's a reason I have to go on diets from time to time. That's no accident. Um, but she's incredible with it. She learned how to can. We've been dehydrating stuff lately. I think was it 2 weeks ago? I think we just filled probably four half-gallon jars, equivalent of 4 half-gallon mason jars with dried broccoli, which
Right.
you can, it's got an incredible shelf life. You can use it in soups later. It's, and just doing different things like that. I think the other day I saw her pulling dehydrated lemons off. Yeah, she's already talking on the side. Dehydrated lemons. So even that for use for later. And I don't know exactly how to use that. She's the one that has all that knowledge on that. But dehydrators are super simple. Even if you go get meat, you can make jerkies, which are going to have a better shelf life than meats, in the freezer and fridge. You can take anything for the most part. Dehydrated bananas. I know we've got a bunch of dehydrated bananas,
All right.
and we've got one that's not, where my youngest is 9 months right now, and so she's still going through that teething time and all that, and this is good for her too.
All
So
right. All
it's
right.
definitely beneficial having something, even as a dehydrator. If you don't have pigs and cows and stuff like that to be able to rely on, something like going to Cabela's, Bass Pro. I think Walmart has dehydrators, but getting dehydrators, there's options to use ovens. I think it works a little different, but you can dehydrate things in your oven. But dehydrating things builds a better shelf life. So you can put it in your pantry, sit on it for a year and a half, 2 years at a time, and it not go bad. And then yeah, have it not go bad and still be able to use it later.
I've used dehydrators. So I played with initially a round dehydrator, which I found was not functional. Ended up with rectangular shaped. So the difference in
Mhm.
the two were that the round blew the warm air up and it didn't heat evenly, but the rectangular shaped one had the heat at the
Yeah.
back, and so it blew over top of all the trays, and it made it much more efficient,
Yes.
got much better results. So if somebody's out there or thinking about dehydration, I would definitely push them towards a square shape that blew from the back. Um, Definitely, I had to like switch the trays around from top to bottom. It became just a massive hassle. You could not control it all. You got to be careful with the
Yeah.
thickness of the cuts, that they're all consistent, so you get the same drying. So slicer really helps with that sort of stuff. But yeah, you're right. You can definitely stock a lot of stuff pretty quick using dehydration. It's a good tool for
Yeah.
sure. We used to make.
We've got a round one.
Oh, do
We've
you?
got a round
Yeah,
one, and I know exactly what you're talking about with that.
yeah, yeah,
The bottom trays always yeah, you have to take the top trays off and store them because they're done,
yeah.
and then put the lid on the bottom ones and redo it.
Keep switching them around. Yeah, we used to make all natural fruit roll ups. So I'd get frozen
Yeah.
fruit from Costco because it was really cheap. Much cheaper than fresh fruit. And I would boil it down essentially, and then pour it. So online you get recipes and they say I add a ton of sugar. I didn't add any, so some of it was a bit tart, but kids loved it just the same. We'd dehydrate it like a fruit roll up and slice it all up, and it went really well. But it was a great way to consume a lot of fruit at a low cost. So that worked well for us for sure.
Yeah, I've known about it for a while, but we recently just went to it's called Valley Liquidators. It's like a fruit and veggie produce stand, but it's a much larger one. And I think we got a 40 pound box of bananas for like $8 or something like that, ten
Oh,
bucks.
awesome.
Yeah, and we brought home a ton of fruit and veggies and stuff like that, and that's the first thing we did with bananas. We made a bunch of banana bread, and then a bunch of dried banana slices,
Awesome.
dehydrated banana slices. So it's bananas tend to go bad really fast. So
Yeah,
having the ability to do something with them like banana bread, or dried banana slices is beneficial.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, good, good. Are you guys getting into composting at all? I imagine with.
Um, yeah, we already we've had a compost pile for a while. We take from our
Just
house,
losing you.
make some for like all our food scraps for the most part go to the animals. That way it's actually getting used up. But we have it's probably a a good 20, 25 feet long. So the stuff on one end that we pull from has been sitting there for a couple of years. It's been turned. It's really rich, dark dirt. And it's got a bunch of nitrogen in it. So we have to be careful about planting with it because it'll kill plants if it's too rich. So you have to kind of add some regular soil into it. But then we load on the other end. So we dump all our cow manure and everything on the other end and pull from the one end.
Yeah, I definitely learned that there's different types of manure. You've got a hot manure and a cold manure. So you're talking about burning. It's just so nutrient rich. That would be a hot manure coming off cows and stuff. But I've heard goats, rabbits. I can't recall what else, but they have a cold manure, so you can actually place that directly on plants. Or recently, I'd seen just last night the rabbit manure being placed in with chickens, and so the chickens would peck at it and get microbes out of the waste, and then spread it around, and then that soil will be later used to help garden. So I thought it was a pretty neat process.
Yeah. They do the same thing with cow manure. We in our last place. We had them free ranging into the cow pasture, and they did a phenomenal job. They just got every manure pile, scratch it open, and then take what they need, and it helped break it down more. So it wasn't sitting there, all packed together, holding all that, all the nitrogen, and break down into a good fertilizer.
Yeah, that's fair for
Chickens are a
sure.
phenomenal resource.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
I like you talk about rabbits. So rabbits I think are in the city. I think rabbits is a really good thing because one, you can have rabbits most places. They do reproduce pretty quick, and they're actually really super easy to process. Very easy to process, easy to store. Whereas a cow is much bigger, a pig is much bigger. The meat with rabbits is going to be really. You can use it for a lot of purposes.
Yeah, I saw the cleaning process, and obviously for those who aren't comfortable with cleaning live animals, you're gonna have some difficulty with it. But really, in all, the pelt was quickly removed. The head was easily discarded. Feet were just snapped off, and then just a matter of he gutted quite easily. But yeah, it's a bit of a hands-on process. Less fat on a rabbit, really high in protein. But yeah, really quick to breed, and looked like it was maybe one of the more easily managed animals, especially in city. Smaller cages,
Yeah.
set up. So that might be a way to go for some people if they ever go to look for something.
Yeah, that and fishing. You got multiple sources of meat. We just fishing rods and fishing gear out the other day and started reschool and everything. So that we have all that gear ready to go. And because right now here, all the parks, the state parks and federal parks, and the all fishing is closed down right now. So I think they're talking about opening that back up, which I think would be really beneficial with a lot of people. And I can't think it would also pass time. I think people are getting really and anxious, and I think a lot of depression's going on with a lot of the being cooped up in the house. It's really hard to kind of maintain your focus on what your purpose is and where you're going.
Yeah. There's definitely got to be some of that going on. It's a challenge for a lot of people being cooped up, and a change in habits, and you get into a routine, and then bam, you're hit with something completely different. I've been working at home. My wife and I she's been home for 3.5 years, and myself for 2.5. So the change wasn't dramatic for myself. The children definitely impactful.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't out and about at restaurants a lot. We did do that sort of thing, but our social life wasn't very grand, other than time spent with Skull and Beard Society. That was where we started to get out and about quite a bit more. So for me directly, no super grave impact, and we had some things around that we had prepared for just in case of this and that. So we had materials on hand. It was definitely advantageous. Masks, gloves, the likes. So if we need those sorts of things, we have that. Some food stored up, freezer, whatnot. So that relieves some stress. Working from home is beneficial because we're manufacturing, we're still shipping. That definitely helps. But not everybody's in that situation, obviously. So yeah, stress can build pretty quickly, and without an outlet or people to talk to, you definitely get into some depressing states. I know you, for our group, had worked on a program for us in regards to suicide prevention. A bit of a manual, and you had done some live feeds with some group members to explain the process and break that down for us. So that was pretty super. I know we got to work on that a bit further and try to launch into the group, and I'm probably going to try to put up a link on the site so we can do some more of that. I know that's an interest of yours, so we definitely want to pursue that too. So thankful for that. Thank you for doing that, and now it's probably for sure to kind of push that through.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely encourage people, especially in the family we have here. There's so many avenues of people to reach out to and talk to if you're struggling. It's here. It really is all here. So if you know there's somebody near you, you guys can get together. Even right now, you can even just talk, do video feeds, anything like that. But there are resources for help. We've all been there. It's struggling, especially with the economy the way it is right now. Don't be afraid to reach out. There's always somebody to help you. Watching the dog. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, I'm gonna just jump off for 1 second and let you command the stream for a second. I gotta just plug in my computer, so I'm just gonna hide myself again.
Yeah, no worries. Trying to think of what else we were doing here. I mean, we've got the cows. I know, what was it, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, we helped someone slaughter a couple steers. So that was definitely a process, and it takes a couple weeks to get all that back and fill the freezers. But we've definitely had the opportunity. My wife and I have had the opportunity to help a lot of people, people that I work with, people that I work around, who are, as we came into this whole quarantine thing where everyone had to be home. There's a lot of people who weren't ready for that. They live in the city, they weren't able to pack up enough or store up enough food and resources. So being able to help people was a phenomenal thing for us. Getting that opportunity. But no matter where you're at, if you have the ability to do anything like rabbits, like Ryan said, or like chickens, I think it's a good thing, and it takes your time too. Gives you something to kind of look forward to, something to think about as you're going through it all. So I think we have 15, 20 birds in total.
I have 15 chickens out there.
15 chickens.
No.
I know we have 3 turkeys. I don't even know how many chickens we have.
3 turkeys and 5 ducks, and then there's
we got a bunch of babies coming up.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
11, 18. I have 33 hens.
Yeah. So we've got the ability to have a lot of birds, and I don't think necessarily everybody has that. But if you do, it's a good thing to do. It's definitely fun. I don't think everybody thinks that, but I definitely think it's fun.
We rescue them.
Yeah, we rescue birds, rescue animals. I think that's where our first cow came from. Was a rescue.
Oh, really?
Rescued her and her steer. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. I wouldn't have expected a cow rescue.
That was Kendall's birthday present. The first year we were together, I got her a cow for her birthday. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Definitely not what everyone expects.
Yeah. Was it meat or dairy?
It was dairy. Yeah, her name was Lucy. She was a Jersey cow. And I think because she was still producing milk and everything, we weaned her steer. His name was Sirloin. And then we kept milking her because you can't just completely cut the milk production like that. That's not good for their health. And I think we were hand milking her, and she was
5
super.
gallons a day.
We got her super used to us, and I think we were getting 4.5 to 5 gallons of milk a day from
Wow,
her.
that's pretty awesome.
And then it would settle, and we'd pull the cream off the top, and we made butter, whipped cream, and then you have was it buttermilk? We'd have buttermilk still left over, and then we'd have all the the 2% milk or whatever it is. But yeah, we did everything ourselves. We make caramel butter, salted butter, regular butter.
Nice.
It was definitely a process, and it's not really that hard. It's not that hard at all.
Yeah, the whipping of butter is pretty cool. Definitely looked at all that, but yeah, having a cow handy is handy for sure.
Oh yeah, I know. We have 3 goats. We have dwarf Nigerian goats.
No way.
We have a mom, and then her 2 daughters. But so we have 3 females. And then we brought a male in, a dwarf Nigerian, and he actually studied the mama and one of the daughters. So they're actually both pregnant right now. And then he actually got attacked and didn't make it.
Oh
We have
no.
a big, huge pack of coyotes, and he protected the girls, which was good. He did his job, but he lost his life in the process. But the 2 females are pregnant. We were actually expecting goats to be born yesterday or this morning. So any hour now. It used to be any day, but any hour now we're gonna have baby goats.
That's pretty cool.
Oh
That's
yeah,
pretty awesome.
it's definitely
Yeah,
interesting.
so Nigerian goats, that's milk and meat.
You can, but
You can milk them. We don't,
because they're
Okay.
but because they're so small, they're dwarf Nigerians.
Right.
So they're really small.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
they clear land like no other. They will eat anything. They will clear any land. It doesn't
Oh,
matter what you
really?
have.
Yeah.
They'll clear it.
Lawnmowers.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The nice thing, full size goats cause damage regardless. They're gonna get into things. They're gonna mess stuff up. Um, the smaller goats don't do it as much, just because they're
No,
smaller. So I think having the smaller goats is more beneficial, and they clear the same amount of land in the same amount of time.
that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. I didn't even know there was a dwarf breed of goats, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's even smaller ones. There's pygmy goats too.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those
Check
are. I
that
think
out.
those are the
No, I've seen the fainting goats.
yeah.
thinking both are the same size.
If you look at the size of them, that's about the same as what we've got.
Oh, nice.
Fainting goats are some of your dwarf goats.
Okay. I eat goat. Goat's great.
But it's
Definitely.
good meat too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. Nice and
No.
tender.
Let's see if I flip this around. Let's see if you guys can see this. Let me know what you see.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Might be a bit pixelated, but I see the fenced yard.
Oh, it's the mountain in the background.
Okay.
I don't have the ability to zoom on here. Otherwise, I'd zoom in on the mountain.
Yeah,
But it's a really pretty view.
that's all good for sure. Can appreciate that. Well, it's been awesome talking. I don't mean to take up your entire day, but we'll have to do this
No,
again
you're good.
for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean we can if there's anybody that's questions about stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the most knowledgeable. Like I said, my wife knows more about any of this than I do. We follow a lot of people online and learn a lot from them. They do a lot of homesteading stuff. But if people have questions about stuff, feel free to reach out because we love to help people.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that very much. Sweet.
If you guys can hear me.
No, I can hear you for sure. I didn't lose you. I don't think anyone else lost you. You might have lost us, but we still got you. Well, on that note, if he doesn't quite hear me, are you back?
I think so.
I'll let him get hooked up so we can say goodbye.
Nope.
I can hear you.
I can't hear anything.
Ah.
I heard something.
Okay.
How about now?
I can hear you. Data sucks.
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, on that note, I'm going to sign off and just say thank you to everybody for watching. And thanks, Joseph, very much for joining us. Sorry you couldn't pick up on all this, so I guess we'll catch you soon in the group. See you guys. Much love. Skull and Beard Society.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.